Hi everyone, Big Mac here. So I decided I would give a review of Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Wii. Obviously, I've been anxiously awaiting for this game since it first came out. I wound up getting it on the first day. I pre-ordered it. I was giddy with excitement. It was a game that I was really looking forward to because Galaxy 1 reminded me of what a good video game is. I mean, it had everything that you would want, although you couldn't climb trees. But that wasn't important. It had your action, it had your exploration aspects, and it rewarded and encouraged critical thinking. I mean, it was like, okay, cool, you got up there. Now what can you get over there? I love that aspect of Galaxy 1, and Galaxy 2 does it. They just cranked that up even more, and I loved it. Especially, there's a huge nostalgia factor in Galaxy 2. I mean, it tries to bring back everything. It's got things from Mario 1, it's got things from Mario 3, World 4, it's got things from Super Mario World, of course, which I'll talk about later. It even has references to Sunshine, to Mario Sunshine. And, I just thought it was a great way of bringing everything back. This would not be a bad game to be your first Mario game. That's what I'm going to say. If, younger kids are like, this is my first Mario game, this is a wonderful one to start off with. Story-wise, I'm not going to do any big spoilers or anything, so I'm just going to get down to basics. Bowser took all the Power Stars. Again. And Mario winds up on a ship who is driven by someone who looks like Grimace from McDonaldland. Yeah, I have a picture of Grimace on my camera. It's a long story. But, so you use Grimace's ship to navigate around the galaxies. Story-wise, it wasn't as in-depth as Galaxy 1, and I actually really missed that notion of the storybook that Rosalina would tell you in Galaxy 1, and you would only be able to learn about it more as you progress through the game. I really missed that, but in lieu of that, in this game you get to meet more characters, which, when it's in its own way is really awesome. Story, or level-wise, there are a lot more levels. There's almost 50 levels in this game. That being said, each level has fewer stars in it. So, the stages are naturally a little bit shorter, and sometimes they did feel like they were a little too short. Like, I remember getting this start and thinking, that can't be the end already, but it was. So, but while some of the stages felt a little short, they made up for it in their, wide variety of stages. And you got to use all the different power-ups you had. You got some new ones from this game, as well as most of the other ones from Galaxy 1. So, it really lets you do things in a number of different ways, and it was great. The prankster comments are back. A little different in this game, though. You have to make them appear by earning what are called comet medals in each course. So each course has one medal, and then that will help a comet appear in another level further on down the game. The comments have the same kind of things about them. They could either be like a time trial, or purple coins, or a daredevil run, where you have to go through the entire stage on one hit without getting hit, essentially. So, in that sense, it felt like a little bit of a rehashing from Galaxy 1, but they kept it varied enough with the stages that it didn't feel completely, like they just completely like copy and pasted it. Although it did feel like that a couple of times, and even occasionally I would think, wait, am I playing Frogger or Mario? Am I playing Q*bert or Mario? I honestly did think about that a couple times, but but it's a platformer game, so these kinds of things tend to happen a little bit. So, of course, the big thing about this game is Yoshi. Yoshi is in this game. I mean, there was a mention. I mean, they referenced Yoshi back in Galaxy 1. I actually have that picked up for absolutely no reason too, which I also got off of my camera, But in Galaxy 2, Yoshi has a much more prominent role, and it's great. When he runs around, you have to hear the little bongo. You have to hear the little bongos going along. The controls were a little weird the first time, like just getting used to Yoshi, but after that they were, smooth sailing. Although there is one thing that I was really bothered by, and this has been an issue since Super Mario World, that I felt like I needed to address. Yoshi's side. Yoshi's side is a terrible thing. Yoshi's side is when Mario has to abandon Yoshi in order to jump up higher to reach a ledge or reach a star, ultimately and often killing Yoshi. This kind of madness has to end. With your charitable donation, we will send you information about a Yoshi whose life may have been saved. Please call 1-800-555-YOSHI. But yeah, I just hate the Yoshi side thing. And I had to do that a couple times. I tried not to, but I had to occasionally. So, but overall, this game was not terribly hard. It got difficult near the end, but it really wasn't an issue until then. I mean, but of course, I've grown up on these Mario games, so I felt it very second nature. Like, okay, let's go to that, let's go to that, let's do this, let's kill that guy, let's hit him here, let's do that. And in that sense, it didn't feel very complicated. But if you do have a problem, if you are having difficulty on some levels, like in the new Super Mario Wii with demo mode, what the game will do is it will give you a bronze star. So the game will do the level for you. You can go in and take and correct it and do it yourself later on. But if the computer does it for you, you get a bronze star instead of a gold star. So in that way, it kind of diminishes the power of that star. I mean, it still counts, but it just says, hey, you had to get help on this one. So, and I made it an effort on my part never to get a bronze star. Again, yeah, although some of them just required a lot of trial and error, and ultimately it took me about a little over 30 hours to complete the game in its entirety. So, if you think, I don't know, so I thought that was a pretty good time frame, 30 hours for a good game. I mean, it was an awesome game. I mean, I also spent a little bit of time, slacking off, redoing some levels just because they were fun. And that's what made this Mario game awesome, is that, it's not just getting through the levels, but it's also going back, exploring. I love the exploration aspect of these levels, too, because there's just so many things that you might otherwise have just not noticed. But, so overall, this game is just awesome. And it didn't make me cry like the end of Galaxy 1, but it is just as up there, I think. So, yes to Galaxy 2. It is just amazing. Alright, this is Big Mac saying, later.